Hello, everyone. I'm Allison, and welcome to my weekly Meltdowns coverage of Survivor 44, episode 5. That's about it. With me, as always, is Beth and Tyler.
That is about it.
Yeah.
That's
All
it.
the strategy, all the gaming, all the fake idols falling apart for nothing.
Yeah, little did I know that when I said last week that it was a setup episode, this week was really a setup episode. And I was like, this is some like insider baseball here, but before I go into the StreamYard every week, like if I have like a good feeling that somebody's going home, I go ahead and update the draft and put it in our StreamYard early ahead of time. So I had Josh's picture like grayed out already, like ready to go. And then like as I was doing that though, I was like, wait, we never saw anything about Matthew again, question mark. And then we see Jeff's freshly Botox face just coming off of that boat with those shiny white shoes being like, all right, guys, you're not going to tribal, but isn't this crazy? Somebody could have gone home tonight, and this changes the trajectory of the whole game. And I'm like, Jeff, like, Josh is not long for this game, whether it's today.
Yeah, he's just gonna go home tomorrow. Like this this tribe is winning immunity, and even if they go to the merge, like his old tribe didn't even want him. So
yeah, exactly. Right. Like I feel like Carolyn and Jam Jam are already a tribe of two. Like I look at them the same way that I look at Stephanie and Bobby John or Denise and Malcolm. I don't see Josh like in any way, shape, or form like continuing to work with them, especially after like Carolyn was a part of that huge sausage fest, which we'll get into. But yeah, I don't know. I just like do we need this whole like
Allison's face was very Carolyn responding to just anything. It was.
Look, I'm just sitting here and I'm like thinking, first of all, this could have been I never thought I would say this. This could have been a 2-hour episode. This could have been the first hour, and then we could have had the merge and moved on with our lives for next week. But at the same time, I just want to say when the bro down was going down with Brandon and Danny with Carolyn in the background. That's how I feel sometimes when you start going on the tangents and the compare, and it's like, this is what it feels like when I'm on a show with Nate and Tyler, and I'm just in the corner sucking on water or whatever I can shove in my mouth. I'm like, I get it. I totally.
You know what
that is me. You know when we were covering The Last of Us together, and you're just like monologuing by yourself, and I'm like, I don't know what to contribute to this conversation. Sorry to interrupt.
You should check in with Rory.
What it was, let's be 1,000% honest. That sanctuary was a right in front of my salad moment where the two just kind of. Do you know that porn?
Yes, of course.
No,
yeah,
Allison.
Yeah.
No.
There is a gay porn. There is a gay porn that has two guys that are in the kitchen and they just start having sex. And there's a girl who's sitting at the island of the kitchen and like, and she's eating her salad. And all of a sudden she looks up and she's like, oh my God, right in front of my salad? Like that. And that's like, it became such a meme. But like, tell me that wasn't what this was. Like the two just like basically start giving each other a bro job. And like, she's just sitting there like, right in front of my salad?
What do I do? It's awkward.
Yes. Well, A+ reference, Beth. But yeah, I totally agree. Like it was so weird that Brandon is just like not even being subtle about it, right? Like I feel like Danny's the one like playing along with the conversation. I think he's like into it, but like it's
and
definitely
also
Brandon
is the one who keeps looking over at Carolyn and going like, oh yeah, and you, but like
right,
kind
exactly.
of an afterthought.
Because,
wasn't great.
Right. Like I've like really complimented Danny and the entire Green Tribe as a whole, just being like very smart, astute players in this game. But like that's why I was like, wait a minute. Like I feel like this is not like the conversation that Danny would be having if he had it his way. But it was a lot coming from Brandon. Like he literally said to Carolyn, like when she pointed out, like, I guess I'll just see you guys emerge, okay? Like Brandon's like, well, you haven't proven yourself in challenges. And I'm like, that is such a dick thing to say. And I love that in confessional afterwards, she's like, little did you know, I have an idol and I planted a fake idol. And Carolyn has done a lot strategically so far, and this dude has no idea because he hasn't been on a tribe with her. So just to like assume somebody's game just by challenge performance alone from the very little you see, I just think is like straight up rude and a lot misogynistic.
I think Brandon has proved that he doesn't trust women.
Yeah.
I mean, the first episode going after Maddie like that was like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I honestly think that Brandon he's like what, an ex-NFL player or something like that, right? Or NBA play. I can't remember. He's some sport.
Yeah, football.
And I just feel like when you spend an entire career in such a like masculine, male dominated thing, like that's gotta absolutely impact your ability to listen and respect other people who aren't masculine and manly's perspectives. And I think that, I mean, I'm not going to let Danny get off scot-free, because while he was trying to include Carolyn, like it was it was an afterthought, and the way that it looked, it became like, it's like, yeah, I really feel like I've been really wanting to get together with you, and I think this will be really great. Like, I think going to the merge will be great. And Carolyn, and I was just like, no, like I just don't understand. This is such a severe lack of social empathy and intelligence. Like, emotional intelligence, like it hurts. I'm like so embarrassed that they didn't even think like, okay, there's a third person here. Even if you think she's going to go home, why not promise her shit? Because if she doesn't go home, and she gave you guys information, like she's spilling her guts, why wouldn't you build that bond? It's just like Brandon to me comes off as incredibly misogynistic and just really socially fucking dumb.
Right. Like, and you don't even have to be a super fan to understand that like the merge is right around the corner. Like, regardless if Matthew were getting medevaced or not, right? Like, why would you like actively work to shun yourself away from the people that could possibly work with you? Like, he might as well be a Big Brother Canada producer, because he's just like shooting himself in the foot with people that want to be with him, right? But that was funny. Go pat myself on the back there.
Well, yeah,
to Big Brother Canada, like I'm all for it. But no, but for real though, like I would not be surprised if that is like the driving force for why he ends up being our merge boot, because we see Carolyn go right back to camp, solidify things with Jam Jam once again, and say like, listen, like Josh is like a part of this like bro alliance. I forget if Brandon like mentioned Josh by name as people that he could like bring in when he was talking.
I think Danny did, or Josh. One of those two did literally say Josh's name.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I feel like we're going to get this like really delicious like split down the middle of these like bros and then like the misfits. So like Carolyn and Jam Jam and Carson and Franny and Matt, I could see them coming together.
And Kane and who's the other? And well, it would have been Matthew, but Matthew's gone. But I really think that's I 1000% agree.
Yeah, and I feel like the misfits are going to succeed here because they obviously have an understanding of what you need to do socially within this game. Like we saw Carson bonding with Zane over what their favorite Pokemon type is, which
they didn't actually put that in the episode, and I would have actually liked to hear that.
Allison, what's your favorite type of Pokemon?
The yellow one.
So electric.
I don't know the Pokemon. The one on the cards.
Pikachu.
Pikachu. That's the only one I know.
Pikachu's an electric type, so we're gonna say electric's your favorite.
Okay.
What about you, Tyler?
Gosh, like of course, like I have to like Psychic. Like they are just very cool. And Dragon, but I feel like Dragon's like a very basic answer to say. So I don't know. Like I kind of agree with Electric. Like Jolteon is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. So
Electric's a strong typing. It only has one weakness, so pretty good. My favorite is flying because it's
flying. I knew that. You're the flying gym from your
Augusta Wind 11.
That's right. Right. Anyway. And Kylan says that he's fire type, and Henning says that he is steel type.
Nice. So, huge defense and then huge offense for fire. Love it.
Yes. But like I said, like Carson is doing all the right things, like integrating very well with this tribe, like just expanding his options for when the merge comes, and especially like once he's reunited with Jam Jam and Carolyn, like that's going to be yet another reason to toss Josh aside. Once they hit merges, they will get Carson back with him and stuff. So I don't know.
Let's talk about this a little bit. Like, Allison, do you think that Brandon or Josh is more likely to be a merge boot, like the first boot as the whole, all the tribes come together?
I don't know. I feel like when they do, are they merging for sure next week? Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Man, this is going to be a little bit of, I think, a little sausage fest. I think some people are going to go in hard, like Brandon and Danny. I can see, but not. I think he has a little restraint.
I think Danny will be okay. Yeah.
And Josh, I really don't think Josh will be the first one to go in the merge. I really don't. I'm probably 60-40 on Brandon going first. I guess it just depends on who wins immunity. But it's I could not tell you who's going to go home. I feel like every mother effing idol is going to come flying out of everyone's butt during the first trial.
Well, here's the thing.
Serious. Even that
idols. Well, I'm just going to say the idols that Carson and Jamie have are now expired because now when they're all on the same beach, it says.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So those two idols are they're null and void, which is basically like, why don't they just do what I said last week and say, if everyone's going to get an idol, it's only good for this next tribal council, whether or not you go. Like, what was the point of making it last 2 tribals? Like, I know that they can't anticipate that Matthew's going to get, pull himself from the game because of his injury, but like it just, there was no payoff. It was no payoff for it. And it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel there. I agree. I think it's Brandon, but I could see the case for Josh because I could definitely see Jam Jam and Carolyn, and especially going to the other members of the Green Tribe and going, just so you know, Danny and Brandon had a little love fest going on and they wanted to go against you guys and they wanted to pull in Josh. And so I could see them being like, well, we wanted to get rid of Josh anyway. And I think that Danny might have some trust broken there, but I trust his game playing, like his social gameplay, better than Brandon or Josh. Josh can't do a damn thing right in this game. Like, it's not like for a lack of trying. He just can't do his shit right.
He's taking tree mail beads and making a fake ass sad idol. I'm sorry. Why don't you just pick up the bird cage and say, look, I have a whole idol.
It's the cage itself.
It's real, y'all. I buried it up by the water well myself.
Could you imagine schlepping that to tribal and then being like, I want to play this like Adam Klein did? And like,
I'm trying to hide it. I'm trying to hide this big ass bird cage and I've got to jacket over. Like, what is that? Nothing.
Hey, if Erica can hide
don't touch my things. Don't go through my things. I don't care what shape it is and what it looks like.
If Erica can hide an LOS up there, maybe you can hide a birdcage up there too.
Everyone can spit on a hand.
Wait, what?
Anyone can spit on a hand for lubrication.
I thought you said a ham, and I was sitting here like, I don't know that phrase, and I'm very confused. Anybody can spit on a ham.
Yeah.
Allison, I do have another very important pressing question for you. Who is the third turd between the three of us here?
What does that mean?
It's what you want it to mean. The third turd.
No. What's the third? What's the third turd? What's the turd?
So right after they got back from tribal, like Carolyn was
something?
At the very top of the episode, like when they got back from tribal, Carolyn was like, "Oh, I was left out of this vote."
Me. I'm the third turd. It's me.
No way. No.
Yeah, it's me. I'm the third turd.
It would be me. Yeah. Hi. I'm the third turd.
It's me. It's me. I'm my own problem. So yeah, it would totally be my own turd.
I'd be my own turd.
I'd be arguing with myself on the way back from tribal council. I'd even let myself know what was going on. I'm supposed to tell everyone else. Stop going through my things. Leave my non-bird cage shaped pants alone.
You know what? I think I'm the third turd purely because I have to ship my poop so often because of my ulcerative colitis. To the point where now I'm sitting here thinking, well, if Josh can make a hidden immunity idol out of the tribal beads or like that are on the tree mail that everybody sees, not everybody sees my shit. Maybe I could decorate that. Here we go.
Can I just say something about this colon? What's it called?
Colonoscopy?
The box thing. What's it called?
I don't know.
Cologuard or
Oh, that thing? Yeah.
so
Cologuard.
Captain Obvious, my husband just did that a couple of weeks ago. And he made a big thing out. He was so excited. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And we dropped it off at UPS on our way to eat dinner. And he's like, I'm gonna take it in. And I'm like, dude, really? He's like, no, I'm taking it in. This guy got out of the truck and marched up to UPS like it was a fucking school prize. Like he was going in for the prize at the science fair. Dude, I'm winning first prize. And I'm going in with it. And he was so excited, and he dropped it off, and he came out and he held his hands up like, I did it. You did it.
Honestly,
and I go,
that's not how I feel when I drop it off.
No,
Every time I put it in the box, I go,
yeah. Well, meanwhile, everyone in because it's not discreet at all. Cologuard is not. They're advertising your shit is in here. It's chemical. It's hazardous.
Biohazard.
Biohazard all over the box. And Chris is walking out happy. And meanwhile, the people in there are picking it up. Another shit box. Why?
Just honestly, you should have sent it via FedEx just for Beth's
justice
FedEx
for Beth.
Wow,
I have to. Well, let's say that every time I have to ship my poop, it does have to be FedEx. So I take a little bit of joy in that. Last week I got to ship my pee. Thank God for the kidney stone to just. You know what, kids, don't grow up.
Don't. I just got the first message from my online hospital thing that I'm on for my follow-ups that I'm due for my first colonoscopy. And I'm like, do I want to just take the laxative from hell and just Thunderdome the shit out of my ass? Or do I just want to do the Cologuard? Chris did the Cologuard because he's ain't nothing going in my butt. I said, but Chris, don't you want to see? Don't you want to see it
like a true straight man?
I was just going to
say,
like a true straight man that is going to use a test that is not 100% accurate, that will miss things. Yeah. And once he reaches a certain age, he can't use it anymore.
Dude, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the laxative and do it just so I can freaking fart everywhere and record it and put it on Instagram. I'm all for it. I'm going to post this shit out of my
out there. I've never farted that much when I've had
I will fart. I fart when I eat sugar-free candy. That's why I keep muting myself, because I had like 4 York peppermint patties sugar-free.
I want everyone to know that we've just divulged into talking about bowel movements while Tyler wraps a gift or something. And
this is how interesting this episode was.
I am multitasking here. Okay, I am.
This like Jenny Autumn from RHAP, God love her, tweeted out this episode could have been an email, and you know what? She's 100% right, because I think the only thing that we haven't talked about at this point is the fake idol itself, like, and how immediately Jam and Carolyn were like, that's fake.
Oh, I did just get a text from my friend Megan, who is a nurse. She said, tell Allison if the Cologuard is positive, she'll still have to go get a colonoscopy. I'm a wealth of information on colonoscopy.
But do I need to just go ahead and get the colonoscopy and not even do the Cologuard, because I want to fart?
I'm telling you.
I think it'll be amazing. I want to.
First of all, you're not going to fart
so hard I take off. I want.
You're not going to fart.
Is it going to be louder than? Megan said, "Just do it."
It's juicy. Like, here's the thing.
Is it wet?
Is it a whoopee cushion type of fart?
That's the thing. You're not farting. You're not farting in colonoscopy prep. You can't trust a fart at all. It's all liquid that's coming out. Sorry,
my father has had 2. My mom has had 1, and
I have had 3, and I'm about to have a 4th one in a couple of weeks.
All I've heard about is the amazing farts. And my father is so obsessed with gas. He's like, I've ripped the most amazing long farts after my colonoscopy. I'm talking about after the colonoscopy. He's like,
you keep saying with the prep. And I'm like, no, you're not going to fart. Also, I don't think I've really farted that much after my colonoscopy. Oh, well.
I'm getting
Let
one more
loose.
message from Megan.
Yeah.
She said they have these things called Sutab where you just take pills and you don't have to drink a whole thing of Miralax Prep.
But do I
Can
poop?
wait. Can your friend Megan please tell this to my gastroenterologist? For the
Megan,
love of God.
I'll have
I
my people
can't
reach out to your people.
I cannot I can't even look at lemon lime Gatorade ever, because every time I look at it, I think of colonoscopy prep, and it's awful. Because you have to
God
chug
bless.
like 2 of those with an entire bottle of Miralax, and it on top of it's just so bad.
My sister swears by that flavor specifically of Gatorade. Like we would have like pictures of it like growing up, and I'd be like, "You are like the weirdest person ever." Like,
First
who
of all,
doesn't
it's
like blue?
always been the worst. And second of all, it's like the
Yes.
only one that you can drink because it doesn't have any dyes that are red or blue in it.
Oh, really?
You
I didn't
can't
know
have
that.
anything that's red or blue or has any hint of those dyes because it can mess with what they're seeing on the colonoscopy. They're like, oh, is that blood? Is that dye? Like whatever it is, right? So that's why you have to do like lemon lime, and it's awful. It already tastes
Interesting.
like shit, but then add a whole fucking bottle of Miralax to it, and you want to die.
You're in my butthole and you're seeing colors? What? What is
Yeah.
going on in there? Wait a minute. If I don't drink green lime Gatorade, they're going to
No,
think
not green, because green would have blue dye in it, right? It has to be the yellow lemon lime, because
it
when they
should
do
be empty down there by the time they're having a field day with my rectums.
not when you drink an entire fucking bottle of Miralax, you're gonna still be shitting up until about an hour or 2 before you do your colonoscopy half the time, and there's still gonna be remnants of just like the lemon lime liquid, because after I'll tell you what, after
God, I
like
hope
2
I'm
bowel
passed
movements,
out. I don't wanna
it's just
spit.
liquid.
I
All right,
don't
people.
wanna-
One
I don't
time last year, I had a bride who like admittedly had like a lot of like digestion issues. So like her sister made her a necklace with Miralax tablets in like little packages. Like
I
one of
love
my
that.
favorite photos from that whole day is her on the dance floor with this like necklace of like
I can't. That's
Miralax.
amazing.
Like one day I'm gonna post it to Instagram and like tag Miralax in it to see if I can like get a little social meds post. If you will.
I got dying laughing because I had to get my infusion yesterday for ulcerative colitis. And when I was sitting there, the guy next to me was like finishing up his or whatever. And he looked over at me and goes, "You Jewish too?" And I said, "I'm not actually." And he was like, "Oh, I just figure everybody comes in for infusions is Jewish." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, all right.
yeah.
I was like,
All right.
all right.
Well, okay, let's talk Survivor a little bit more. I just have like a few more talking points for us, and then we can just go off the rails for however long we want. Okay, so we saw Matt and Franny flirting a little bit more, and we got another behind the curtain like producer talking to a Survivor in confessional. So this is twice now this season that's happened, and I love it so much. Like the producer said to Franny in confessional, "I see you blushing a little bit," and then Franny's like this. I don't know. If of course like nothing has happened yet, like they haven't gone from like flirtmance to like showmance, but I feel like it's certainly headed in that direction. And I will say, if it does happen, this is my favorite showmance in Survivor history. I know we don't have a lot of showmances throughout Survivor history, but these two are just so cute and perfect together in like a nerdy like I don't know, like hipster type of way. I ship it. I like them a lot.
I ship them too. I really want to like them outside of the relationship though, and like their entire edit so far is just like 2 really cute nerdy people who are like clearly going to date. And I think that's great, but I just sit back and I think because I really want to root for them, I'm like I think within the first few merge votes, one or both of them are going to go. Like, and I am really nervous about that because anybody could see what's going on there.
Yeah. Well, I will say, and I don't know if this is a spoiler, like this is just me speculating on Twitter, but Carson, Carolyn, Jam Jam, and Franny all today posted like a selfie with like a photoshopped dog in it. And it's all like the same dog. I don't know like what the significance for that is, but they all had the hashtag the third turd. So I don't know if that means that like once the merge hits, like this is going to be an alliance that's working together. I could certainly see it.
So this is where I'm questioning. Did they do this before the episode or during the episode?
Before. Yeah, it was earlier this afternoon.
Last week, Carolyn kept putting everything for Felicia, like bye Felicia, like all that kind of stuff leading up to the episode. I think that they're just holding on to what they think is going to be like coming up in that episode.
What about the Photoshop dog then?
And I have no idea. I mean, clearly they're all talking in group chats and such, but I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know.
This must have been what it was like to watch Lost when it was on.
You have no idea what it was like to watch
people
Lost,
looking into everything, be like, "What do you think the dog means? What kind of code is it?"
Mm-hmm.
I seriously am covering Yellow Jackets right now, and it's been compared to Lost a little bit. And yes, this is exactly right. But I will say it's a lot easier than Lost, and it's not the same thing. It's just got timelines and it's got some stuff and whatever. But
that's how I would describe Lost. It has some timelines and
it's got some timelines and a hatch and some guys. Yeah, he walks. He was in a wheelchair. I don't know. The guy doctor's got a dad. Okay, listen. There's a dog. But anyway, I'm sitting there and we're talking about before the show, and Lost comes up, and I go, "Yeah, I can't." Like, I can't even talk about it. I get so angry because of a lot of shit.
Don't spoil. Beth hasn't finished watching Lost, right?
I have like
Lost yet.
That show and The Walking Dead are the two. Like, if I ever had a show that I could just bitch constantly for 60 minutes about two things that made zero effing sense and just disappointed me completely, but I didn't quit. Like, the two most abusive relationships TV-wise I've ever been in are those two. And like,
I have so much to say.
I mean, people compare Yellow Jackets to Lost, and I'm like, no. I mean, I get it, but no. There's alternate timelines, and it's hard to explain two different timelines, but I nailed it in Monday's show because I split it and I discussed one decade and then another. I split it in two, and that's how we did it, and it went smoothly, and that's how you did it. With Lost, you've got this timeline and this flashback, and oh shit, now we're flashing in the fucking future. I mean, we've just got all of this stuff going on, and it's like, wait a minute, now we're talking about the crash never happened? What the frick is going on? Like, I can't keep up.
Weston says Game of Thrones season 6. Season 6 was lit for Game of Thrones. Season 8 was bullshit, or 7 was bullshit. Season 6 was lit.
I'm talking about Heroes in the chat. Heroes.
I love Heroes.
That should never been canceled.
Tim and I just watched season 1 and 2 of Heroes. Season 3 goes like too off the rails for me, but that is a great show. And Hayden Panettiere is such a great actress at such a young
It could have been brought back.
Role.
They could have reeled it in. They could have like recovered from season 3.
You know what's
like
exciting to think about with Hayden Panettiere is that she would go on to be able to play a real Botoxed up person in Scream 6.
A running gag here in this apartment now is me just going up to Tim as Hayden Panettiere being like, I'm a detective now.
Here's my bitch about that. I saw the Scream 6 a couple weeks ago too, but let me tell you something about Hayden. First of all, Hayden Panettiere, whatever, lobbied to be in Scream. They didn't come to her.
She came to them.
I'm another person who has survived Ghostface.
She said
I can't move my face, but I'm a detective now.
She said in an interview, not only does she lobby that this character should be in it, she came up with the fucking backstory.
So here's the backstory I have.
Everything this character's been up to. No fucking way they ever would have been like, she's an FBI agent from Atlanta. You know, she's all this, walking around stiletto boots, kicking doors down. She knows.
I'm going to get stabbed, but then I'm going to get right back up. And then I'm going to have this whole story where I am like, have this really weird bob haircut.
Yeah, well, it's not even a haircut. It is a shake and go wig.
That is a wig, bitch. They didn't even
that wig holds on to her life more than she holds on to her life.
First of all, that was a hard wig line. There was no lace front for that. That wig was atrocious.
That wig did a better acting job than she did. I seriously think that wig could have kicked some ass. They gave it some time.
Yeah, it was hard enough.
Just could have taken it off and thrown it. But the funny thing about it is, I thought Scream 6 was one of the best ones, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, it was so good.
I loved it. But Chris and I were laughing at one point, and I can't give it away. Dude, I pinned who the killer was away. I knew how many it was, and I said it from the word go. And Chris just started laughing because I was like, no. This dumb bitch did not do it. She did not get resurrected from Scream 4 at all to be the mastermind. She's not a what is her name? What is her character's name?
Kirby.
I don't remember.
Gertie?
Kirby.
Fuck, that's terrible. So Kirby, first of all, no.
Kirby! Not Kirby!
I thought you said girthy.
Kirby. First of all, fuck her name is ridiculous.
Like, I'm Detective Girthy now.
Kirby. I'm a detective now. I just
my
saw it on
Botox
the
needle
news.
is a lot of girth.
Yeah. I saw it on the news, and we have a lot in common. And we couldn't get Nev Campbell. So I found out Nev Campbell wasn't coming. So I just stalked everybody and beat them down until they let me be in the movie. And then I brought my own script that was handwritten saying I'm an FBI agent. Bitch, Kirby was not the mastermind. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not buying it. Spoiler, I don't care if you, whatever. Just stop it. Because I was laughing like I was being tickled when they were trying to pin that shit on her. I was like, I'm done. If any
so
of y'all believe this shit, you deserve what you get.
It was just so weird. Like every shot of her, like especially like before the final sequence, like every camera shot of her, like everybody else is like far back like this, and then for some reason, like she's like this close to the camera. And she's like,
it was in her contract. That's how it was negotiated. She wanted extreme close-ups.
Yes, for sure.
Apparently, Jeff Probst did too, because my God. So I saw one of my friends, Naomi Calhoun, today was like, "This is Jeff Probst asking about what Tribal would have been like."
Yeah,
and he was like, "Guys, I'm so sorry to tell you, but Matthew had to go home. But what didn't happen might have happened, but what's going to happen may happen in the future. What's going to happen?" And I was like, what the fuck? How many times can you say the word happen in one sentence, Jeff Probst?
Yeah.
What if, I'm sorry, hey, I got to disagree. We can agree to disagree. Pam Pantier was good from Heroes back. But anything from there on, Nashville, all the other crap she says.
One exception. She was great in the Until Dawn video game.
Freaking video game. Listen.
And she crumped so well in Bring It On.
I'm not acknowledging it. There's only one Bring It On. Stop it. Listen, I can't with the crunking. It's so dumb. What if we got Hayden Kirby Pantieri to come and fill in for Jeff?
Team Pro V.
To fill in for Jeff on Survivor. Wouldn't that be something? Because then we'd have real extreme close-ups.
It's Hayden Pantier that comes.
You guys sure don't seem very scared right now. you don't seem tense at all.
You know what makes me happy is that I tried to show y'all my teeth earlier, and then I had shit in my teeth before we got going. And what would have made me just so happy is if when you did that, there was a piece of like chicken like it was for me, just right there on your teeth. What made me feel a little.
But no, it's like imagine instead of Jeff on the boat, it's Hayden Pantier, and
she
comes
nowhere. Nowhere. No one else.
And while she's telling the news about Matthew, she's like crumping.
Aren't you so excited? It's crunk. Only if that wig stays on while you're crunking.
I need a trifecta from Tyler right now. I need the crump with the Hayden Panettiere face while you go, oh yeah.
All right, here we go. Just for you guys. This is a My Weekly Meltdown exclusive, all right? Oh yeah. That was Hayden Pantier. And then she's like, Matthew's gone. Also, are they
clip that? If you're watching on YouTube, clip that, please.
She's
Um,
getting off the boat and she's holding her wig the whole time they're on the thing. She's fucking holding her wig on.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Good Lord.
This
yeah.
is all right. I have to share something that for whatever reason this just made me think of it. Like, you know how her face can't move because of the Botox.
Yes.
For human rights violation. Sorry, Henning. This reminds me. Okay, so this is gonna sound really dark, and I swear that it is dark, but it's funny. There's a part of it that's funny, not the whole situation. Okay, anyway, so there was a murder of a child up in my hometown area, right? And then it made huge national news. They've made documentaries about it. There's an HBO special about it.
What's it called? I have to watch
Who
it.
Killed Garrett Phillips?
Okay.
But when 2020 came to cover the trial, I always forget who the guy is who hosts 2020. When they were interviewing the mother of this 11-year-old boy, she's like spilling her heart out and being like, and then I went to the hospital and and he was dead. And the reporter, the guy who's interviewing her, just literally looks at her and goes, "So sorry for you."
Just like no empathy
No
whatsoever.
empathy. Her face didn't move to the point where like I was watching it with my friend and I paused it and I was like, what was that? And then we went back and watched it. So sometimes when my friend and I are trying to express that we feel bad for each other, we'll just go, "So sorry for you."
You know, expressions are I'm gonna tell you something. I'm upset. I don't know why the Murdoch trial, the Alec Murdoch thing, his son, all of that. I don't know if y'all follow that or anything, but there's the body cam video of the cop that they've checked the pulses, and this guy knows damn well they're dead because he killed him. But they're telling him they've checked the pulses and his wife and son are dead, and he's on his cell phone and he goes, "Did you check it? Are they dead?" And the cop goes, "Yes." They go, "Oh man, oh man." And that's what he did. And every time that's what he did. And then and first of all, such white. This is a white privilege. He gets interrogated in the cop car in the passenger seat. Who the fuck gets that kind of treatment? Is sitting there doing this the whole time. You know how you poke your eyes, trying to cry. My wife is my son is letting get it. I can't laugh. Oh. Fucking dude, what the fuck?
And then a cop went, "So sorry for you."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Oh, one more thing about Survivor for tonight.
Oh yeah, because that's what this is about.
I guess that we should talk about it. But Rob Sesternino pointed this out on Twitter, but everybody who went on the journey this time were all three of the people who opened the birdcage on their respective tribes.
That is
and
very
interesting
ironic.
that we didn't get any talk about that when we finally had a sit-down powwow time.
For it to come up. What if they all put it together? But they probably would have if they had, included Carolyn in the conversation.
Well, Carolyn's like, here's something to look out for idols on your specific tribes.
I do. Yeah.
And then they were like, cool, that's great.
No,
do you want a bro job?
You have to a bro job. It's a bro job.
It's a blowjob, but you get it from your bro, so it's not gay.
She's just gonna go
no
like,
homo.
No
so
homo.
while I'm sitting over here, you guys, I can tell you, I was in the bird cage. I mean, not physically, but I got the bird cage.
That's really good impression.
It is.
Facial expressions.
Did you get in the bird cage? Because what if we all got in the bird cage and we all have the idols and we make it to the merge? But that's okay.
That's a very good impression.
Give each other bro jobs. Give each other bro jobs.
All you have to do is every once in a while do stuff like, and like,
maybe that's
like that kind of
everyday life.
But
that's small.
That is a pretty spot on impression.
I know.
I also want to give a shout out to our friend Weston. He said, thanks for recommending Survivor Australia. Watch the new season. It was great TV. I can say this now that the season's over. One of the best seasons of Survivor of all time. And Liz is a fantastic winner. And I'm so glad I had the taste of Gabor out of my mouth now.
She was such a good palate cleanser.
Yeah. And George ran that game. It was so impressive. Allison, you have to watch it at some point.
Like, what's really, really great about that particular season, and just generally what I'm gathering from Australian Survivor, is George could play the game like that and still have an incredibly warm welcome at the jury and have everybody just celebrate him and have no malice. The person he went head to head with the entire time. I don't know if you watched the jury villa stuff or not, but like Simon was like shaving his neck and all this stuff, like just things that they just complimenting the crap out of his game. And I just sat back and I was like, I really enjoy that. First of all, they're playing for much longer than even the US seasons used to be. They're probably getting harder challenges, all these other things, right? And the fact that they could still have a good congenial competitive nature with it, like US Survivor could never. There have been so many people who have gone to Ponderosa, and like the lack of empathy of like, this person is exhausted, tired, just got voted out, needs to eat, hasn't showered, and you guys just want to jump on them to ask them questions about the game, which I understand, but like, let them breathe, let them have a moment.
I agree. And I think the issue here is like with Survivor US and like its modern era, I feel like they are casting like people with like heroic sob story is like the number one thing you need to have to be cast on Survivor nowadays. And they are so afraid to cast like a rootable villain like George. Like I feel like Danny is like the closest, and maybe Shan are like the closest. Jesse too. Yeah. But like, I don't consider Jesse really that much of a strategic powerhouse or that much of a villain.
I completely disagree. I think that he was pretty strategic, and he found ways to literally cut all of his allies using things against them. Like it was That's true. You're a mother to me, gone. You're a sister to me, gone.
I think I just have a bad taste in my mouth about everything 43.
It started out great and then it just went.
Yeah. But like I just want people to I want like the heroic stories about like overcoming like your childhood struggles. Like that's great. I love it. Like good for you. I'm glad you overcame and stuff like that. But like I would love to just cast like people that know the game, that are willing to play hard and won't take shit personally in the context.
The problem is nobody knows the game anymore because the game is no longer a social experiment. It is about outwitting and outplaying production.
There was no idols from like the merge on in Australia Survivor, I believe. Like maybe like one, but like it was very, very minimal.
There was one. There was at least one.
Yeah, but not enough that like
they had
really
John's idol. They burned all the idols in like one tribal council.
Yeah.
But the whole point here is to like, I really think that I've said this before and I'll say it again. Big Brother's issue is that there's too many recruits. Mm-hmm. Survivor's issue is that there's too many like true huge fans of the show. And I think it's a lot harder to recruit somebody to something like Survivor because it demands so much more on your body and training and those kind of things versus like, would you like to sit in an air-conditioned house and play silly games for 90 days or whatever? And somebody's like, yeah. And they're like, and you're going to be on television every single day. And they're like, yeah. And then like, you get someone who's like, hi, do you want to like completely ruin your body and your mental health and not have any shelter and be bitten up by mosquitoes and also have to do these incredibly hard challenges for, you know what I mean? Like that's harder to do. But I think honestly, at the end of the day, Survivor could use a few more recruits of people who don't know the game. They also need to kind of revert a little bit back to the game that we're used to. I understand throwing in the kitchen sink to try to see what sticks. And as y'all know, I'm a huge modern Survivor apologist, but I will not apologize for overproduction. And that is what we're seeing.
Yeah. And I also think that like Australian culture is just like innately like more like brute strength and like competitiveness, if that makes any sense, than US culture, especially in its like current form right now. Like it's more about like politics and like social constructs and stuff like that, which I'm glad that like we're having all these conversations and stuff. Like it's important, of course. But like at the heart of Australian Survivor was just like incredible competitors, physically, strategically, mentally, socially, like all of the above. They just like every single one of them went so hard for so much longer than the U.S. Survivor. So I don't know. I hope that Jeff or like whoever else that's involved with Survivor production that has influence over these decisions really looks at like the chatter online about Australian Survivor and how much of a slam dunk it was from start to finish, and take notes, because it was really, really good, and it made me fall in love with Survivor again.
The only thing I will say is from Survivor Australia. Please, Jeff, don't get any ideas about voting out a jury member. That was so fucking stupid. I hated that.
They did it in Survivor Co. Wrong. Did you not like it then either?
I hated it. I hate that. I hate anything that ruins the authenticity of what you sign up for the game. If you make it a jury, you are still a part of the game because your decision helps to your vote helps the ultimate decision. I don't like this idea that people could potentially have fake idols in this game that have a authenticity from production like we discussed last week.
Yeah.
I don't like when,
it's in the same vein.
Right. It's a similar vein to like, when the time Turner thing happened and like, oh, you won the reward and immunity and oh, whoops, now you didn't. Like anything that does something like that, I completely agree with players feeling like I was cheated. This is not what I signed up for. The confines of the game are so different. It honestly feels a little bit like the Hunger Games, and like that the producers can at any moment just being like, you know what? Let's just set a fire here. And I know that's like not what they're going to expect, but like we need something that's going to be entertaining rather than just like trusting that the game itself will be entertaining.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
But God, we could talk about this like all day. So I'll spare Allison the nerdy strategic talk, because I know that's not your fave. Are you okay?
Yeah, y'all can. I just might have to leave to take a shit.
All right. Well, I was trying to be subtle about that, but
I had some sugar-free candy before a show, okay? It loosens you up. Who needs Miralax?
I can't wait to tell my doctor that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up so Allison can get going safely.
Can have a BM.
Yes. But just real quick, here is our updated draft. So I lost my first pick, Matthew. I hope if they're inviting Bruce back, I hope that Matthew gets a shot too, because if this guy's been training for years and is like tears streaming down his face while he's removing himself from the game, I would like to see him play again.
We're all.
I will say, I still think Tyler, between your Danny, Carson, and picks are good. I think Franny or Kane, like I feel like Franny's just above Kane, but I'm worried about both of them as being early merge boots.
Yeah.
For me, I think that Heidi is so invisible. She could potentially go like middle merge.
Finalists? Oh, okay. Merge. Yeah.
Middle merge, I think. Jamie is going to get idled out, and she's going to play her fake idol thinking it's real because her other ones have expired, and it's going to be funny. I think Brandon's early merge. I think Jam Jam's going far. I think Matt is going far. And I think Lauren's middle merge. That's where I'm at.
Jam Jam and Carolyn, I think their success depends on how well they can link back up with Carson and what they can do with that bond and his connections to the Orange Tribe once the merge hits.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be very, very important. But we'll see. We'll see. Merges next week. So
that's a good point by EJ Cruz in the chat. All girls get voted out and the men get medevaced.
So true. You don't see no women getting medevac.
Can we also why did they cancel Tribal Council?
I know, like let's maybe because Bruce had already been medevac, so like they're already like ahead of schedule.
They're like, oh damn, we can't afford this, and it was the one tribe of 3, so I guess we'll save them.
Like we're already down to 26 days. We don't want to make it like 14.
Could you imagine? They're like, this season of Survivor, 9 days.
9 days. It's over.
20 contestants, 14 days, 1 survivor.
20 contestants, 20 hours, 1 survivor.
It's God. That's where we're headed. All right. Well, all right. Well, Thank you guys all for joining us in the chat. Go ahead and join us on Patreon as well. Beth and I do want to do that Pokemon show soon, and we will figure out all of that shit. And yeah, all right. Well, we'll see you guys on Monday for Yellow Jackets, and then next week for the merge episode of Survivor. But I hope you guys all had a good one, and
We'll see you later because I'm an FBI detective.